Rafael Devers to San Francisco, baby.
Mm-hmm.
First thing, before we get into any of the details, Brig, did you think this was real when you first saw it?
No, I thought it was a hoax. I really did.
I did too.
And we're not alone in thinking that that we were getting trolled by somebody, or this was some prank.
Mm-hmm.
I bet.
Yeah,
I think the whole world felt that way initially.
I think so too. And one of the things was because somebody sent it. We have a chat with people who have done podcasts and fantasy baseball with us and stuff. Somebody sent a screenshot of an Instagram photo that it didn't include the source. There was no watermark, nothing, no logo, anything on the post. It was just Devers to the Giants. And I was like, there's no way. There is no credible sourcing on this photo. So immediately I went straight to The Score, which is where I typically go for baseball news, stuff like that, because you're going to get stuff there. You're not going to get on MLB.com. Shocker. And so when I pulled up, it was the top story. And I was like, and it said 1 minute ago. And I was like, whoa. It's legit.
That's when you screenshotted it, sent it to me.
Exactly.
You're like, is this for real?
Yes. So crazy. We're going to get into some more of our thoughts on this in a minute, but first let's share some of the details. So, as a reminder, Rafael Devers signed a 10-year, $313.5 million contract with the Red Sox in January 2023. Are these numbers this year, Brig? The 2.3 B-WAR?
Yep,
Is that right?
as of this moment.
Okay, slashing 272, 401, 504 with an OPS plus of 152. That's pretty dang good because league average is 100 if you're not tracking that. 15 homers, 58 RBIs or ribbies, runs batted in, however you like to say that. And he leads the American League in walks with 56. He is the, hands down, best bat on the Boston roster. Even after a slow start where he started, 0 for 34? Something like that?
Over 0 for a million. And I think there is an important caveat here. Bregman, by the numbers, has some better offensive output, but he has, at this point now, significantly fewer plate appearances, and he's hurt, so it doesn't matter. So for those of you who are statistical ninjas and you're like, now wait a minute, there's the full story. Okay.
That's the caveat there. So one thing that I saw was interesting, real quick, those 15 home runs that he has, that's one more than all left-handed hitters on the Giants roster have combined.
That's right. Yep.
All lefties combined for the Giants have 14 homers. So this is a significant power upgrade, not just in general, but especially on the left side of the plate.
And at Oracle, where they need some lefty power, that's a big deal.
It is. It is a big deal. So I think one of the things that we've been hearing over the last 24 hours since this deal has gone down, for those of you who don't know, we record Monday nights. Okay, so some of this information might be a little bit out of date, might be a little incomplete if you're listening Tuesday morning, but it is Monday afternoon, Monday evening, East Coast time. But one of the things that I've been hearing a lot is people are saying, is Devers a top 10 hitter in baseball? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely he is. Yeah. He is 7th in on-base percentage. Go ahead.
Hold on. I had the same reaction. They're like, all the pundits, all the analysts, all the reporters, they're like, one of the best hitters in baseball. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, maybe in the month of May or whatever, but maybe, first 2 weeks of June. That was my bias. And then we...
Because you don't like old Cabbage Patch cheeks.
He's a Cabbage Patch cheeks. I didn't know they allowed him orange. I wonder if he'll change his eye black or something.
Maybe. But so he's 7th in MLB in on-base percentage at 401, 8th in doubles, 3rd in RBI, 2nd in walks, 2nd in times on base, behind only Aaron Judge, which is wild, because I don't think anybody's going to catch Judge this year.
But he's number 2 in how many times have you been on base? Rafi is number 2. I did not see that coming.
Well, and he's tied for 3rd with Kyle Tucker for intentional walks, behind Judge, number 1, and Ohtani, number 2. So he's up there with the top 4 guys in Major League Baseball who pitchers, or managers, I guess, do not want to pitch to.
Yep.
Which is a big deal. And games played number 1 because he's played he hasn't missed any time this year.
I don't think he's missed.
Plate appearances number 2.
Yep. Lots of sample size. But those numbers, the games played and the plate appearances, him being number 1 and number 2, those are important statistics when you compare him to these other guys who don't play every single day, right? Mm-hmm. His numbers are still good in a game where averages are everything and have a tendency to go down fast and are difficult to keep up.
Right. Exactly right. 100%. So some of the details on the trade. The Giants will eat all of Devers' contract. He has $250 million plus, 8 years plus remaining on this deal because, like you said, he's only in the second year of this deal.
Dude. Makes no sense. Okay, go ahead.
Well, hold on. We'll get there in just a minute because I have some thoughts. Okay. Matt Chapman is the Giants' third baseman. Absolutely 100%. Right? He is injured right now, but he will be coming back, and that is his position. Because
couple weeks, yeah.
Who in their right mind would put anybody in the league at third base over Matt Chapman?
Nolan Arenado would be the only other choice. The only other choice.
I don't know if I would right now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you had to move him, the only other
guy. He's the only guy.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The onlyest one. Yep.
He's going likely going to take over for Wilmer Flores at DH, which just makes sense to me. I think it makes sense to everybody.
Yep.
The Giants have a couple guys who can play first base, so he doesn't have to worry about that. So he doesn't even have to pull his glove out of the trash, Brig. It can stay there.
Nope. It can stay there.
I wonder, Brig. I wonder if he even brings one with him.
He's like, we're moving to the Bay Area. Honey, what should I pack? Everything but my glove.
Exactly. Maybe some extra bats.
Yeah.
But he at this point just doesn't even own a glove.
Bring my eye black and a whisk. That's all I need.
That's right. So this is bonkers. Buster Posey has put the rest of the league on notice with this, by the way.
Yeah.
So the Giants
Buster Posey.
Go ahead.
Buster Posey is the driving factor behind this entire deal.
Absolutely. He is.
Orchestrated it. He ensured it happened. He went and got the approval before and after. Yeah, no, the storyline behind how Buster Posey sort of orchestrated this deal is its own story and is worth looking into if you'd like to, but he called his buddy at the Red Sox and he's like, "Hey man, clearly, there's an opportunity here. What's it going to take?" And then they worked it out, and then he went upstairs and got the money. Basically the story.
Yeah. Yep. So the Red Sox get Kyle Harrison and Jordan Hicks, Jose Bayo, James Tibbs III. And I think Harrison got optioned like immediately.
Immediately goes to AAA Worcester. Immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. So they don't even have him. Jordan Hicks, who we've seen the potential, but it just hasn't really panned out for him for a while now. So it's not like they're getting a Cy Young pitcher like everybody had hoped Jordan Hicks would be.
Right.
But what this does do for Boston, it frees up a ton of money. Okay?
Yeah.
Just so much money for them. And it creates a more favorable clubhouse for all these young guys they're bringing up who they want to develop and make the center of attention on this team. So it's no longer Rafael Devers. There's no more questions about, is he playing first base? Is he playing third base?
Okay, so you're right. The younger guys now get to be the center of attention. There's no more drama between who plays third base. There's no more drama who plays first base. All of that goes away. This bad clubhouse toxicity, whatever's going on between Rafael Devers in the front office, who knows at what levels, plural. But there's clearly bad blood, so he's out, right? They're cutting the cancer out of the situation, And when you look at the numbers and when you look at the deal, right, you're getting these 4 guys. Bayo, by the way, was the 2024 first-round draft pick for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So this Boston wants to get rid of Rafi Devers. That's the only reason.
Right. It's true. I do think, though, okay, so this is one of my things with the whole Buster Posey thing, is that I feel like you get one freebie as a GM, right? Where, like, you can call somebody up and take your shot and absolutely fleece somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Jerry DiPoto did it with the Luis Castillo deal. 1,000% fleeced the Reds out of Luis Castillo.
100%.
I don't think this happens again for the Giants. Like, I wonder if Giants fans are like, oh, we got the best GM in the game. Buster Posey's giving up nothing and getting the best. It's not going to happen again.
No.
The rest of the league is going to be like, okay, Buster knows how to negotiate. He's going to make something look really, really nice. Think twice on it before you agree to anything with him.
Right, which is too bad because he burned his one freebie on a sure thing. Rafi Devers was going to leave the Red Sox before the trade deadline. I think it was a sure thing.
I don't know that it was, because the Red Sox weren't shopping him.
Well,
I think it was a cold call. It was a cold call. Just a shooter taking his shot, I think is what it was.
That's true.
I think more than it being a freebie, I think he caught him off guard, is what it was.
For sure. But go ahead.
So Jim Bowden on Foul Territory was talking to us. He said that he's gotten text message from several GM friends that he has in the league still, and it was like, he's like, did you get any calls on Devers? I was like, no, we got no calls on Devers, 0.
Yeah,
they didn't call around. They weren't shopping him. It was a shooter taking his shot, and the team being like, well, yeah, we actually would really like to move him. What can you give us?
Yeah,
a whole bunch of nothing. It's better than what we've got right now.
Thank goodness.
Oh, and you'll eat the contract? That alone.
Right? I know. And you got to know that these other guys were just, help me justify this. That's all it was. Just help me justify it. So give me one of your, first round draft picks and then pad that a little bit. That's it. So listen.
Yeah.
This is why I think it was a sure thing. Okay? That not that the Giants would end up with Devers, but that the Devers was moving, because first of all the bad blood points that direction. So the writing seemed to have been on the wall, culturally or whatever, relationally. Buster Posey makes this call. Okay, let's call it a cold call, which it probably is exactly what happened.
It feels like it was. It really feels like it.
So let's say Buster Posey makes the call. He talks to his buddy. What stops his buddy from calling around and saying, do you know what Buster Posey just said? And then now he's talking to Minnesota. And now he's talking to, the Mets. And now he's talking to whoever. You know what I mean? Like, whoever.
Yeah.
I think that if it hadn't have happened with the speed and violence of action that Buster Posey applied to the situation, he would have moved no matter what. The idea was planted by Buster Posey, I believe. I also believe that the germ of the idea was already there. Everybody was already wondering. Buster Posey just put a name on it and gave it life. Had Buster Posey not continued to push for it and made it as sweet and as quick as possible, he'd have been gone anyway.
You mentioned what kept his buddy from saying a word to anybody. I wonder if he said, don't say a word or this deal's dead.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
That's entirely possible.
Because this is the thing about Buster Posey. You can't be as great of a catcher and as great of a leader as Buster Posey was and not be a great communicator. Clearly, he knows how to do that.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
It's wild, though. Absolutely wild. I do think it's his one freebie. I don't think this is something that's going to be a habit for the Giants. Mm-mm. But that said, Buster Posey is going to be opportunistic over the next, probably every year, as long as he has that position.